All right, guys, things are getting pretty serious here as President Biden has announced these cluster bombs going over to Ukraine to help them defend it. Take a look here at what Russia is saying. They're not happy about this, as Russia's former President Dmitry Medvedev says, and this is a quote from him, senile Biden, I know, this is what they're saying, risks World War III over cluster bombs, says Russia's Medvedev. This is their former president, and he's still a very high-ranking member of their cabinet. He actually could be their number two in line if Putin were to be assassinated or something like that, unless the Wagner Group boss were to be um, come in there in a coup attempt or something like that. Here's what he says. Dmitry Medvedev has again railed at Joe Biden, disparaging the U.S. president's age, actions, and accusing him of provoking nuclear Armageddon with his support for Ukraine. Medvedev was president of Russia between 2008 and 2012. During the Obama administration when Biden served as U.S. vice president. Now he's the role of deputy chairman of Russia's powerful Security Council and a key ally of Vladimir Putin. He used his Telegram account to take repeated swipes at the U.S. president. In April, he called Biden a senile and a desperate grandpa after the U.S. president announced his candidacy for re-election in 2024. He revisited the theme in his latest post on Saturday, in which he mocked, quote, sleepy, senile Biden for saying during the Geneva summit with Putin in 2021 that he has not agreed to Russia's demands that Ukraine not join NATO. But he did actually reiterate that here. I just showed the video here of Biden, what he said here about Ukraine probably not joining NATO right now. He said that Biden has, quote, shamefully fled from Afghanistan, and to hide the shame, he ruined the economy of Europe. While it is unclear what Medvedev meant, his post made clear his disdain for supplying Ukraine with hundreds of tons of weapons, and says, quote, now after exhausting all his resources, he promises cluster munitions as well as the prospect of NATO membership for Kyiv, which, if that happens, means a third world war. Now, on one hand, Russia has been criticized for using cluster munitions. Okay, so keep that in mind. Biden has said that the main reason for using this is a lack of ammunition, which does bring up a big, big concern here for the U.S. and Ukraine. Russia is also short of ammunition as well. The U.S. has actually a large stockpile of these cluster munitions. Ukraine has said they will only use the cluster munitions in Ukraine to defend their own land, and they will not use them on Russian territory. So you guys can let me know your thoughts on this. However, these cluster munitions are banned in like 100 different countries, and even Ukraine's allies and the U.S.'s allies they have their own concerns and are even speaking out against this. Take a listen here.
Overseas to the war in Ukraine and the fallout from the Biden administration's decision to send cluster munitions to Kyiv. ABC's foreign correspondent James Longman joins us now live from Ukraine as U.S. allies are now speaking out. James, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Janae. This is a fast-moving situation because a lot of key U.S. allies are now criticizing this decision from the United States to supply Ukraine with cluster munitions. The UK, Germany, Canada, New Zealand, they've all come out against this decision, all saying that they don't believe these weapons should be used. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, he has said that Britain does not endorse this. He's one of 123 countries to ban their use. The Spanish Defense Minister has come out even further. She said yes to the legitimate defense of Ukraine, no to cluster munitions. Why is all this so controversial? Well, these munitions are incredibly dangerous. They cause indiscriminate damage. They explode in midair, and then smaller bomblets land on a wide area. And the issue is unexploded munitions then can pose a risk to civilians. That is why the United States has said that the munitions they're supplying have a lower fail rate than anything that Russia or Ukraine is currently using, and that they've stipulated Ukraine must adhere to a number of conditions. They can't fire them into civilian areas, and they must commit to demining once the war is over. Nevertheless, all of this will be a source of tension for President Biden when he meets with NATO allies this week.
Yeah, so even a lot of President Biden's supporters are questioning and, against his decision to do this. Honestly, his back's up against the wall, or the U.S.'s back's against the wall because of the shortage of ammo. And it's not just the U.S., it's NATO countries as well, and Ukraine as well, because this war has been going on. In fact, Ukraine actually just, you can see here, President Zelensky hails Ukraine's forces from a symbolic Black Sea island to mark 500 days of war. To almost mythological status for Ukraine's resistance after the Russian invasion. 500 days war has been going on now. So you can see here, that's quite a long time. Quite a long time here. Here is a current map updated within the last few days by actually the BBC of Ukraine, how much Russia controls of Ukraine and how much Ukraine controls of Ukraine. Obviously, this whole white area here is Ukraine, and how much the red area is Russia controls, and Crimea, which Russia annexed or basically just took back in 2014. Okay, so you can see this red area here is what Russia has taken for the time being from Ukraine. I would say that's about, I don't know, maybe 15% of Ukraine, 10 to 15%. This is a large, large portion of Ukraine. Yeah. And honestly, it's kind of been like this for a while. We've had a little bit back and forth here, but Russia has not really taken much, if any, ground here for quite some time. Quite some time. So I don't foresee Russia taking over the entire country or, quote, winning the war. I would see that, like Vegas odds or something like that, being a very, very long shot. You guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Unless something like nuclear war were to happen and they were to start dropping nuclear bombs, God help us all if something like that were to happen, because, that could be the end of days. But I will keep you up to date here. So if you haven't yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below and the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new videos here. New videos come out here on our YouTube channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks so much for liking, and please share these videos so others can see this and it helps our YouTube channel grow. Click here to see a video you won't believe what Biden just did. Or click here to see curfews are happening around the entire United States. Click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.